there is almost always a pathway that you can find where both people can have parts of their needs met. I think about this with cleaning with me and you is I was like, I need a room that can be as messy as I want it to be. Like I was like, because it is stress sometimes for me to clean still. That's from my own story and brain neurodivergent issues. And I was like, but I do try to keep things more clean in our shared spaces. But I was like, I need a room because you were like stressed out by my corner or by my whatever, because anywhere you could see it, it impacted you.
Yeah, it was like piles of chaos. And then I'm getting overwhelmed because I'm like, when things are structured, then I can get my brain working well, and I can focus really well, and I feel peace inside of my.
Yeah, you have some sensory issues with your environment. So do I. So I can have compassion on that. But I was like, I'm always looking at when I have something I can't do, I'm always looking at, but what can I do? So like, I can't keep the entire house your level of clean. What can I do? I can keep the entire house as much clean as possible if I can have a space that is totally mine to be as messy as I want. Right. And that room for me makes me feel like I'm not being dominated. I'm not being run over. I still have autonomy. I get to choose how I want to live here. I still have options. And that's what we did. I have a room that I get to keep as messy as I want, and you never get to comment on it. And you never get to have feelings.
I don't even think about it. I can close the door to it.
Yeah.
And I don't have to look at it. And there's still a lot of ways that you leave clutter. You're way different, but there's a lot of clutter around the house still, but it's not the chaos piles and stuff like that. Like your functionality, like you shifted for me and then I shifted for you. And I was like, that's okay. I will walk around and pick these things up when when you leave the house. I usually do like a 20 to 30 minute, like I just get everything sorted and then I sit down and watch my TV and do whatever and I'm chill like that.
Yes.
But we found that balance, right?
Yeah. And I would say like I paid more, and this is one of those things that took both of us emotional work. So you worked on the anxiety of a mess and how that was impacting you.
Internal.
Because you grew up in a home where you got in trouble for a mess. Like you got punished.
Yeah.
So that also gave me compassion for where you were coming from.
And I knew that you grew up in a hoarder home. And so I was like, oh, okay, like this is way extremely clean compared to what she experienced.
Yes. And so you grew compassion for me. And then we both worked on, I leave less tornadoes than I used to.
Oh, way less. Yeah.
Yeah. But I would say we don't fight over cleaning ever now.
No.
Hardly ever. And that was probably our number one fight for years.
Yeah. Now we have this one, we have this air fryer that you always take out and you leave on the counter. And that's your main staple is that you leave that behind like a fallen soldier after you cook inside of it. It's sitting there always on the table and I'm always grabbing it and throwing it in there. But
I could start working on that.
But so I use this moment in the podcast to confront you so that you'd start working on it. But I'm like, but I can handle that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not internally like freaking out anymore about stuff, and this is way better. I watch you like load the dishwasher now. Like that's huge, right?
Yep.
Again, this is such a silly thing. The cleaning thing is something that
represents.
It's about you cross into each other's space, whether that's
physical.
Whatever. You now unite two lives together, and whatever that represents, like what is the thing, like you might be listening to this and be like, we don't have a cleaning issue.
Totally.
We don't have a money issue, but we have a parenting issue where our two lives just collided and we have two very different lifestyles of how we want to go live.
Yes.
How do we do that? So
I want to talk, we're almost out of time, but emotional win-wins, emotional capacity. So this is very similar to us, but it's another friend of ours. She needs to verbally process round and round certain subjects. Like when she gets hooked on something, she can loop. And so that is obviously she's having anxiety about something. So she's needing to verbally vent about it. He is only capable of going on that merry-go-round for so long. And once you're married, you realize, oh, I'm going to have to be going on this merry-go-round the rest of my life. That's a lot of merry-go-rounds. And so what they do now is he will say, I have about 5 more minutes that I can talk about this subject. If you want to go call a friend after that, that would be great. That's one way that he does it. The other thing that he does is if she's looping, he'll say, would you like me to lay on the couch and you can lay on me and we can just lay together? Or do you want to do a breathing exercise together?
Like something that brings her anxiety down.
Would you like to do a breathing exercise together? Or would you like me to squeeze you? Doing full body squeezes is like a way to help somebody's anxiety. So he's like, I want to meet your anxiety. I can't meet it through hearing you process about this for another hour. That causes me too much anxiety. Now, he's not saying that every time. He's not saying, you're causing me too much anxiety.
Yeah, but it's known. It's been established, the idea.
It's saying, like, I want to meet you in your... And that's where there's that middle ground. I care that you have anxiety. I care that this thing that you're processing is affecting you. I don't have the capacity to have a deep talk about it, or I don't have the capacity to keep processing. Even sometimes once they've worked through something in conflict, they'll hit a spot where he's like, that's as much capacity as I had to talk through a hard thing. But what I can do now is I can lay with you. We can do breathing together. I can squeeze you. We can watch a show together. And that is the number one thing that has worked for win-wins for us is I can't do this, but I can do this. And what you're communicating with I can do this is I still care about your wants and needs. I still care about your anxiety. I still care about what's going on inside of you. I just know that I can't do it this way. And I know you've done that a lot in our marriage. And do you want to talk about how that's impacted things?
Well, it's relieved me because, look, I mean, bluntly spoken, I felt trapped on the other end of your ramblings sometimes. And I was just like, dude, how many times do I have to go through listening to this thing? Because there's times where what you were sharing, it felt pointless to keep looping on something if you just don't take a solution. Take a solution, move forward with it. I've heard it. It's like, we've talked about it. I hear you're sad. I've acknowledged that. It's not like you weren't validated. Move forward. And I could tell at points, like, I felt resentful towards it. And I felt like I was bad. And this is something I wanted to address. I felt like I was bad for saying I can't do more of this.
Totally.
And a lot of people, if you've, like, that's part of codependency. And if you've grown up in an environment where you're codependent, you don't feel like it's okay to be like, I can't meet that.
Yeah.
So I had to get over some of my own personal shame inside of it. And then I could tell you, like, I love you. I care about you in this area. I can only listen this much more. I need you to actually process some of those things with your friends. And I felt such relief. I'm like, I don't have to have walls up towards you that say, get lost. I can just say, like, I'm happy to participate this much. And it's easy potentially to have a partner that feels rejected or offended at that.
Sure.
And that's something that needs to be addressed. But what you really did is you're like, I can tell he only has so much capacity and I'm going to go do this. And
I negotiated. I was like, I need there to be a buffer time. I can't just have you be like, I'm done. So like what you would often do is hit your capacity and be like, I'm done. I can't talk about this anymore. And that felt so abrasive to me if I was feeling vulnerable. So I was like, I need a 5-minute countdown.
Yeah. So I started saying things like, hey, babe, I love that you're sharing these things with me. Yes. I want to show up really well for you. I can tell that I probably have about 5 to 10 minutes left on this conversation. And then you may need to go share it with some friends if you need to keep going with it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, thanks for letting me know. Okay. And I set healthy expectations for you.
Yeah.